I think it's actually our first time sitting down for Guilty Gear as well, I do believe.
At one of these, yeah. I mean, we've definitely done some TNS shows together.
Yeah, TNS, yeah, okay. Sorry.
That in the long ago.
It's
the before time.
It's been a minute for sure.
It's definitely been a minute.
Excited to be here for sure. CEO, always a pleasure in getting to get through the rest of Guilty Gear pools. I do believe we're going to have 1 or 2 more blocks after this, so there's plenty more gear action, as well as plenty of action on all the other streams. So wherever you're checking us out, definitely thanks for tuning in for CEO. It's been a good weekend so far.
I'm having a blast. I got to play my Street Fighter pool earlier today. I'm a little salty about that. I am the reason that I lost. That is a weight that I have not had to carry with me for a while.
Lost myself. It hurts.
You know, I keep going to tournaments and entering because it's like, well, I'm a commentator, but I'll enter. And then I lose. It's like, well, of course. I actually was doing okay today, and I lost on some mistakes, and I'm feeling some kind of way about it. But hey, you live and you learn. There's plenty more action going on. We already have our players sitting down.
This is exciting to me. This person on the bottom, some people might know him already. This is definitely an if you know, you know. This is the Auction Potemkin of very old lore from Rev 2. This is Donny Tsunami, a Potemkin player from Tampa, Florida. Very, very strong player for sure. Plays multiple characters throughout the Guilty Gear eras. Has played Slayer, Sin, Potemkin in Rev 2. Coming into Strive, has definitely been leaning mostly into Potemkin. Very strong player for sure. I'm excited to see how much he has been playing, because if he is injured, I know he's frugal. So he would not have played if he was not ready to play.
So he's going to be playing the Potemkin is your expectation. I know Potemkin in Strive is not necessarily in a place that I think people feel super stellar about.
It's hard.
it's a struggle out there.
Yeah.
It is, you know, the game engine doesn't really lend itself to it. He's, I think the best versions of him in this game have still only sort of been kind of moderately okay.
Yeah.
Like, in that first year, right? Like he didn't struggle as much as say Anji and Faust did in like that first year. But those characters saw a little bit of love, and it feels like the vibe that I've gotten from Potemkin players is that everything that he has gotten in his kit has not necessarily solved what they perceive as his problems.
I 100% agree with that. As a Potemkin player myself, it can definitely be a little difficult to get into certain situations and deal with certain situations, but we'll see how he ends up working it out. Mr. Donny Tsunami, again, is going to be facing off against Serket, and I will say, one nice thing about this, at least for Donny, and potentially to the detriment of Serket, is that I obviously live in Tampa, Donny from Tampa. We only play 2 characters in Tampa, and that's Potemkin and Soul. This is definitely his most practiced matchup for sure, but we'll see how it goes here. Serket taking a little bit of damage at the start.
That's what I was going to say. It's like if you have that much matchup familiarity, the thing about playing, you know, a more character specialist character like Potemkin, right, is you are always going to have a better read on the matchup than the person playing into you, unless they are fortunate enough to have someone that plays that character in your area. So if you add the yes and on top of that, there is a lot of soul in this area that Donny Tsunami would have played against. My man is appreciating some plus frames right now. Oh, you thought not.
Nah, 6-8 straight into the jump forward. Good stuff. Donny takes the first round down. Serket, though, again, doing all the right things, knocking on the door, spacing things correctly, abusing plus frames. But unfortunately, going for the throw in this game without having meter to keep it safe can be a really, really dangerous task. Went for the DP, though, into the 6S. Not too much else to follow here. Hammerfall comes through and has to go for the YRC. Great defensive choice there. Still okay, though. For the revolver.
Okay, that's the same spot where earlier Donny Tsunami managed to get the back throw and everything snowballed out off that situation from there. But Serket managed to get the meaty throw that time and have it work out for them instead. 1 round apiece now in this first game. You have plenty of time to acclimate still, thankfully.
So that distance, went for the flick. Actually finds a sweep. I like the idea, but Volcanic, yeah, just on wake up. Why not?
All right, you can see, I like that Donny Tsunami is really using that barrier, just like, all right, whatever, I don't want to be locked down in your face. Oh, the PRC actually still going to get counter hit. 2D connect, Serket wasn't ready for it. PRC to keep him safe, finds the whiff punish on the whiff 2K.
He's able to get the flick afterwards too. Tries to go for his first pot buster of the round. Not going to work out. Holds the FD, but doesn't get too much done. Donny back into kind of a chilling position until the anti-air.
That's another one of those spots where Donny seems really comfortable mashing out that back throw defensively in those spots. Serket's going to need to start to be mindful of it. And the wide hitbox of Potemkin means that these far slashes are hitting just far enough away that it seems like Serket isn't super comfortable trying to make something happen. We do go for the overdrive barrier there, and as Serket commits to try to get through, we do have the punish. The first game is going to go to Donny Tsunami.
That is definitely the correct answer. It's just spacing dependent there. Donny recognizing that he was definitely at a spacing or even at the correct reaction speed, still was going to be safe for it. So the round here, the game comes through for Donny, but what a burst bait.
Yeah, that was crazy, and now you're on the back foot. But it seems like Serket is trying to play a grounded game in a spot where I was talking about the matchup familiarity of a specialist character. You can see that there's spots where they're trying to back off to elicit a whiff punish, and Potemkin actually still gets a check there.
Oi, counter hit does. Gets a lot of time, tries to go for the pop buster, wakes up with the 5K. Interactions here, and the instant of the tri-jump.
That was gross. I wonder if that would have worked against shorter characters. Potemkin's so tall.
True, actually. I mean, that's, listen, live and die by the sword. A big man, big buttons.
Sometimes your sword looks a little bit like a lighter. That's okay.
You know. Oh, no, but just like you were talking about, the back throw incident, but there's the gold burst to get out safely.
The gear throw. Right off the ground, anti-air throw. Trying to press the issue. Okay. Donny Tsunami is able to get a hit for themselves, but they're a little bit too far away for the 2H follow-up. And now they're just trying to get the right spacing on the ground for where they feel comfortable. Okay, they found it with the 6H, but the way that they have to commit, it seems like Serket is now circling back to like, word, I'll represent my 5K, bring out the 3-frame, and just check you there.
Okay, I like that. Loses out a little bit of damage, but now your burst is baited. Serket, that's a great way to go, but not enough to kill. This is actually really dangerous here. 50 meter for Potemkin, BRC has to slow down, but nothing to follow.
I really imagine that BRC was a mistake. I wonder if they were like trying to YRC and just input it late enough that it came out in neutral. I don't know. I can't imagine why you would want a BRC there, especially if you didn't have the resources for anything afterwards to go your way. Because it's not like you were going to BRC into a mix-up and then cash out more damage and quarter carry.
It's okay, though. Went through with the armor, try to go for the 2D, no whiff punish, but that's okay. Is able to completely ignore the fireball. That armor continues to put in the work.
Love that neutral jump splash there, and now just like that, Serket has put themselves in the corner. Donny Tsunami is trying to represent with these anti-airs, finds the defensive back throw once again. I wonder if it's a height thing. I feel like because Donny Tsunami is so tall, he's blocking jump-ins at a different height, and the frame advantage on landing, Serket isn't comfortable with it.
Yeah, it does happen quite often. That's a good thing to point out, too. Like you said, the frame data changing significantly based on where you hit, but one thing that's not seeming too out of place here is the burst base here. Serket has it sniffed out.
He's sniffing the packets on that Serket is definitely what he's doing. Okay.
Okay.
Get the instant air Vipers. Oh, just barely off the ground there to get that 5K to connect, and now we've got ample lockdown. How is Donny Tsunami going to choose their resources defensively? They're not. They're just going to move into the next round, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation, but Serket almost has the burst back. So Donny got a lot of work to do. Feels like Donny is like, there's this certain wiggle that Potemkins do when they're kind of feeling like they don't have as many options to approach here, but instead is kind of leading into the footsies here, and it's looking good so far.
Yeah, I think the footsies make sense here because, you know, a character with a fireball, if you're going to struggle in footsies, your inclination is to be like, well, I'll start playing the fireball game. But Donny Tsunami's already been doing a great job of using Potemkin's anti-fireball tools to blow up Gunflame.
Yes.
So now that we're sort of living in that other pocket of like 5S, 5H, 6H range, unfortunately, they're on the back foot now. Serket gets the corner, but Serket has to aggressively burst to keep the lockdown after they're smoked by the 2D because Donny Tsunami is doing such a great job of locking down the space in front of them.
I love that 5K, knowing that nothing really after the 6K was going to be able to do too much. YRC in response, went for the 2D, but no punish. Just lets it rock from both of them.
Oh my god, not a single one.
He's jumped every single one, continuing the knock on the door here, running out of meter as Donny trying to FD for his life.
Oh, waited exactly long enough there, did Serket, who is, this pressure is looking so difficult. Oh, finally a burst works. That's maybe the first burst of Donny Tsunami's that has not been baited specifically. Finds the back throw again. We have the OTG. One more touch would do this round for Donny Tsunami, and they do get it As Serket goes to jump out of the corner, look at the face. You see that look of like, ugh, that moment. You see, if you're a tournament player, you know that feeling of like at the end of a tense round, when it's over, and you feel the tension leave your body for a second.
Especially when it's in a weird situation like that, where it's like, I went for the OTG, it didn't kill, and then I won in the scramble. As a breath of fresh air for sure. Shake it out, but the anti-air comes through. Good conversion here from Serket. It's kind of hard to combo Potemkin as well if you haven't comboed him before, since he is like a super heavyweight that falls very quickly.
Okay, PRC keeps himself safe, but they don't get a whole lot in the way of a punish. Positive bonus still ticking up here for Serket, who's going to get to use those resources exactly there to keep themselves safe on the PRC. Now they have the low checks. Backdash comes out from Donny Tsunami. That was going to be a big damaging combo there with the 5D juggle. We had to spin the burst, but Serket should be able to get the cash out here. No, they don't get the wall splat.
Still okay, though. Oh, what a whiff punish. A little bit of damage there. Back Mega Fist, obviously one of the best reversal tools for Potemkin, if the only one.
Oh, with throw, nothing comes of it.
Meet some air to air. This is huge. Yeah, there was a standing opportunity, but he dodges every single one.
I'm stuck on the fact that Donny Tsunami went to block in that spot. IAD over, Serket had done nothing, and Donny just walked for like 15 frames. It's like, man, take your turn.
Oh, looked like it was supposed to connect there, didn't quite. The counter comes through, and they slow it down. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I think you called it. You can see that Donny Tsunami's game plan is very much turning into very footsie oriented. I think the problem is their throw game is being so thoroughly sniffed out. I think it's at a point where you need to start to introduce anti-air options. Like wait that extra second and then catch them up backing.
Yeah, that, or when you're going for these meaty situations, try to go for the lows here. 2K2D is a really, really good option in situations like that. Standing medium, just going for the standing S is not going to work out too well.
Oh, the extra overhead off the red RC down drift. Serket has a fair degree of control right here as Donny Tsunami is on the back foot. We're looking down the barrel of a game 5 unless Donny Tsunami makes a pretty significant comeback. 5K whiffs, we do get the 2D tap there. Oh, but we didn't commit in the air-to-air situation. I think Donny's been a little bit late hitting air buttons a lot of the time too. Oh, what a check.
There we go. That's really good. That's another thing that's really important for Potemkin. You got it
we finally got one! And you have red RC. How much damage are we going to be able to get off the back of this?
Very close. Very, very, very close. He's not quite dead.
All right, one more mix-up. 20 seconds left. You can wait this out.
He has to come to you. He's got to do something.
He has to come to you. Gunflame isn't going to go full screen.
12 seconds. He's running out of time. Slow.
You just find your 6P. Use your head, my guy. If that was a 6P, you would have been fine. Barrier through. You know you don't get to take the bar with you, so just barrier out of everything. Finds the dash forward throw.
Oh my God! Finally found the throw. I am so surprised that Donny didn't burst there. It seemed predictable, but I feel like I am okay with you flipping the coin there.
So I think Donny was making the level 2 play.
Yeah.
Because if he won without spending the burst, he goes into round 3 with the burst still intact. It is a much better situation for them. It's a high risk, high reward play because it puts them in a better spot. Unfortunately, it just didn't come up their way this time. We are now in that game 5 that I was so excited about the prospect of. And Donny Tsunami locked down in the corner once again. The burst baits have been largely removed from the table for Serket. They're not baiting the bursts anymore. We find our back throw.
Okay, finally, we're going for the meaty this time. Spaced out well. Burst does not come through. We find another pop buster.
Damn! That did a duff.
Oh no, 1 round left potentially here. But immediately, bar slash, I like that. Good call. Bully him.
Lock down, hammer fist. Okay, regular jump forward this time, slowly earning our space. What you can see that Serket's doing is when Donny Tsunami goes for splash, that's when Serket goes for like normal jump forward and air dashes in. And Serket is specifically responding to these very low options coming out of Donny Tsunami that they can go vertically over.
No, had an opportunity for a throw, but here we go.
Another big back throw from Donny Tsunami though. Plus frames. Waited out, YRC. Oh, you thought you are not gonna run into my space. Wall splat. Big damage, positive bonus.
Oh, but we have to go back to neutral. This is going to be really, really tough here. Serket, I think you're doing good.
Donny Tsunami is going to get burst back first, and we can play the same way we did. I really do not want to see that energy from you, Donny, please. Burst.
YRC instead goes for the jump over.
Okay, finds the burst, but now he has the life deficit, but the poke. Serket lands exactly in range. Donny Tsunami with the close 3-2.
Standing slash ends up being the deciding factor for the boy from GoTE. Shouts to St. Pete and everybody there. To Baja Burst, obviously, a very, very strong local run by Rye, Becky, a wonderful person. Those good people over there.
Are you able to get Baja Blast at Baja Burst?
We definitely have some mixed drinks, we'll say, that are involved with it. Because it's hard, not as easy to get your hands on, but we do what we can.
I'm here for that.
Of course.
I'm here for that energy. Definitely here for that energy.
Oh, man.
We're all here for the energy here of CEO. Y'all can't tell it. So normally when we're on the commentary desk, right, they got us sequestered in the back. There's curtains. They got to hide us from the people. We don't get to see everything. They don't have like curtains in front of us here. Just the curtain for the screen as I'm looking at myself in Screenception. The point of that aside is I can see all the pool action. I look directly ahead and I see all the people here playing.
Yes.
And it is an infectious energy. There is no better feeling than being on the mic at a tournament and hearing the room popping off for the dope stuff that's happening. And the only thing better than when it's going on for the game that you're watching is when you hear it for the game next to you. And you're like, oh, what's going on? What am I missing? What am I missing?
I always find my eyes wandering when I hear it for sure. So I definitely, it's very fun to get to watch. And that is just one of the energies that you can see here at not only CEO, but all kinds of different events. This has been a blast so far. I've really enjoyed myself. I haven't gotten to go through Artist Alley yet, which is going to be in between my next two blocks. That's what I'm gonna.
I got to walk through a little bit. I swung by the 10-0 merch booth.
Okay, very nice.
They have this like limited. Oh, wonderful. Our player sitting down on the lower player feed there is actually showcasing the new Zato-themed merchandise from 10-0. That actually is a dope shirt. So it's just it's just a bunch of like overlaid Eddie shadows. It's so sick. And they were telling me, they were like, we have a limited supply, grab it if you want it. And I was like, I'll circle back. I'm pretty sure by the time I decide to pull the trigger on it, it's going to be gone.
It's always worrisome. That's always the first place I hit is the merch booth. And I already got my hoodie and my shirt from the event. It's good to go. The first place I always head.
See, I don't do it until late because I'm not a bright man. And I have downsized what I carry around at tournaments so much. I have the snack box that I rep in the sling bag. I'm not trying to carry anything. And so if I buy merch, I have to carry it. That's why I want to buy merch and wear it.
True, very true.
So when the merch looks as good as all the merch does this year, that makes it easy. We are loading in for our next set. Looks to be a Soul versus a Bridget. I'm trying to see whether I can see the names. I think this is hinniguin versus NateKyng.
Okay. So Soul versus Bridget, definitely a matchup that can be a little weird. I think Soul, against a lot of characters, is used to being able to kind of bully in footsies. Bridget, I don't think he really has the opportunity there. She is exceptionally good at the mid-range and also very good at looping safe Oki, but it doesn't matter when you round start DP.
For you talking about looping safe Oki, it's a little bit funny, right? That like she's the yo-yo character, and then her game plan is so much about like you go in, you come out safely. You go in, you come out safely. But the way that she structures her stuff on the screen is actually the yo-yo pressure.
Yes.
Like for real. You see hinniguin has managed to navigate their way out of the corner and now has NateKyng locked down. When, if at all, are they going to burst? They are not going to get to before the wall breaks, and hinniguin is going to get this positive bonus. You got to spend that meter soon. You get anti-aired for your trouble.
Yeah, it was a little too far to be able to spend that bar, but again, has max meter now. It's going to wake straight up with the super. Going to go through.
We even found the punish. I'll take that punish for what it is, right into the command grab. Yo, have you seen my bear tibbers?
Listen, rock the bear. Rock the baby. We appreciate that. I also think that's hot take. That's the best command grab in the game. It's just, it's unavoidable. I don't care.
Oh, you mean like in terms of its competitive utilization, not in terms of how good it looks?
Oh, no. You can't beat the vibes of HPB, but no, just in terms of usage, it is so hard to deal with, especially with the way that this character moves already. Trapped in the corner now.
Too far away. That was such a greedy full charge 5D. But you were just out of range when you have to set up with the yo-yo. Oh, you thought this airspace is controlled, my guy.
Okay, went for the pull in, but mashes the 2P into the 6H to find a knockdown. YRC, we're charging dust again.
Okay, nice up back, but we double jumped. I have to imagine that was an execution error coming out of NateKyng. Or, I'm sorry, coming out of hinniguin. because if you had just neutral jumped there, you would have managed to get away with a full punish. Instead, that extra air mobility got them anti-aired. You ever make the right decision and then still get blown up for it?
Hey, listen, all the time. About to knock down though. Punish came through. The burst is already off the table. Definitely appreciate it.
There's a lot of super jump being represented by hinniguin. I think that they're like trying to super jump because they're not comfortable with the threat of yo-yo on the screen, so they want to spend more time at like super jump height so they don't feel like they have to worry about it. But I think the problem is they're not generating any threat, they're just moving.
I agree. Right now though, away, trying to throw out the yo-yo. 2S connects. That was a very odd interaction with the PRC, but in the end,
what a confirm off the 2S coming out of NateKyng there. That was so great. I was like, oh, what a shame. You're not going to be able to get a whole lot of damage off of this. Oh, they went to walk the dog, and the dog got walked. Okay, 2K whips. Wow, 2D just hits counter hit there, and now NateKyng is back in the driver's seat once again, where they have been living so far in this set.
Okay, found that close slash. Comes through with the revolver all the way to the wall, goes for the jump loop, and is going to be able to go for the break. NateKyng, 50 bar, but at a disadvantage until, what a poke at round start. I mean, she is so exceptional at that round start range.
Yes. Okay, checks the forward dash too. NateKyng's fundamentals, like their neutral game so far, has been so good. You can see, you were talking about how Soul loves to be able to just bully people. Oh my god, is that going to connect? Yes, it is. Right into the wall break. There is no scaling on that. That is game 2 for NateKyng.
Wow, the anti-air with the Aura-Auras. Good God. What a way to stop him.
Since you're using the yo-yos, is it still Aura-Aura or is it like yo-yo-yo-yo?
You know, maybe it's both.
There's something there. I'm not witty all the time, y'all. There was something there. Somebody better than me would have found it funny. That is so much damage off of hinniguin. Finally landing that full charge 5D they've been so hungry for. I do not agree with bursting there.
Yeah, definitely trying to be a hero here, but if NateKyng can do it, potential for a lot of things here, see if Nate can handle it, but unfortunately, time's starting to tick down on the life bar, even with the plus frames off Roger. I don't know how much you can get done. Yeah, 2S into the revolver, an easy close from there.
Yeah, I think maybe they hadn't really internalized how much of a life deficit they were at in that spot. I get that the rounds have been super dominant in your favor so far, but there are leads that are just really hard to come back from. And I think what we're seeing from NateKyng is, you know, they're doing a great job of eliciting these bad responses out of hinniguin and then blowing them up. That's all you need to keep doing here. There's going to be these full charge 5Ds that you're going to blow up with your 2K, though. It's been so consistent. Blocking Viper. Come on.
That's the energy, though. You got to do it with Soul. Unfortunately, you get taken for a ride for the troubles here. BRT for the slowdown. It does get the hit.
Oh, I have one of my own, says NateKyng. Locking down the screen with the yo-yo. It's not going to be able to come back. Not in a way that's going to cover them at any rate. Oh, empty-ish low. And we are on set point now for NateKyng.
Tough situation. hinniguin is going to have the burst back at some point soon. There we go. Is able to get it back.
That spacing was immaculate. hinniguin spends their own burst. Now, despite the fact that I disagree with the way NateKyng spent their burst in round 1, the result of that is that they're going to have their burst here, and hinniguin is very unlikely to get a burst back in this round if the pace stays the way that it is. This lockdown is looking so difficult. Right into the command grab once again. We don't have a whole lot of tension gauge to spend here, but hinniguin is locked down in the corner, and that is going to clinch it. XOXO, wish you were here in the winner's bracket, but you're not. You're down in the loser's bracket as NateKyng is able to move on.
Yeah, NateKyng definitely looking strong coming through. Bridget, obviously a huge talking point, I feel like, for Strive players and people that just enjoy watching the game. I feel like she was already strong, and I feel like it's still on the rise. I think the character has a lot more room to potentially go up as we get better at not only implementing the kind of macro game plan of the actual character, but when we start getting into like how to use like the little micro nuances in terms of player matchups, because there's a big difference between there's playing the player and there's using your character's tools to play the player, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. And I think to piggyback on that point, I think Bridget is very well equipped with the way that she can so easily manipulate the space she's controlling and the way she moves through that space. I think she does a really good job at that. It's been very interesting to see the way that Strive has developed to be more of a mid-range feely kind of game. Like even characters that have been good the whole time, like Leo, who's always been you know, a dominant character, he's got crazy mix-up stuff, but I feel like when you watch the best Leo players, they have a really solid ground game, the way they use like 5S, 6S, 6H, or I mean Chip, they buffed Chip's far slash, and suddenly he becomes this like footsie character where,
Yep.
you know, you're playing around the tip of far slash range into Rekkas, and you really have to worry about that, and it snowballs into set play.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Testament developed into the way they do off of the strength of their far slash and 5K. You know, it's really sort of, there's that pocket of like Testament 5K, chip, far slash, stuff like that, is this magic spot in the screen where if you're able to really live in and control that space, it ends up so much of a neutral focus game that has been so fascinating to watch. And what's great about that is, to bring it back to your original point, that's where so much of the mind games around the way you play the neutral comes out to play. It's so fascinating to watch.
It really is, and that's just kind of the thing that we get to see as the game continues to develop. Obviously, Guilty Gear Strive, not a new game at this point, but I feel like it's finally hitting the point where we've hit the point now where Strive is settling into, like, I feel like, maybe a hot take for some people, because I don't know how many people have played games for a long time. Strive is like just now entering the mid game, where we understand how to play Strive now.
Yes.
We get it.
We have an understanding of the system.
We can
the characters.
play.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
I think we're just getting to the mid game, and that honestly a lot of the times can be the most exciting time, because now we understand our tools, we understand the assignment, we can get to the point where we're starting to play at that higher level, because I feel like most games aren't like fully developed until like after their lifespan, right? Like the games that we see, like still seeing developments here and there. So the Strive, I think we still haven't even seen the ceiling. We don't know.
No. I certainly think not. I think the year one of a game is a very different beast to like year 2 through 4.
Yes.
And then you have like 5+.
Yep.
And we're definitely in that sweet spot where you can see like the characters who are really strong, the outlier, powerful characters.
Yes.
And I know we have talked about this. I think that outside of maybe 1 or 2 characters on the bottom tier and maybe 2 characters on the top tier, most of the character strength of the roster of Guilty Gear Strive is fairly squashed. Yeah. I think it's not a super varied tier list in terms of character strength. And what's happened over this window of time is characters like the ones you're seeing on the screen in Happy Chaos right now, people get more and more comfortable with playing with the matchup.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that makes Happy Chaos particularly difficult, and what made him such a demon earlier on, was that I think to truly play against Happy Chaos properly, you as the person playing against him also need to be paying attention to his 3 resources.
Yep.
Concentration, ammo, and whether you're cursed. Because you need to use those to inform how you're navigating the screen. 100%. And that's hard to do when you're not playing the character.
Yeah.
Because you suddenly have to play their game while you're playing them. There is no one who gets to play against Happy Chaos and not care about what he's doing.
Definitely agreed. But we'll see how Risky Sweep here is going to be able to handle it himself. Obviously, Mei, another character that we were talking about that has been exceptionally strong in these most recent situations. Obviously, players like Corey and SLaTe have continued to show how strong this character can be. If you have a great reaction time and you have a very solid flowchart, she can get the job done.
No, absolutely. We see, oh my god, counter hit start at round start position. Risky Sweep opening it up with the perfect against cottonballo for that first round. Now look, I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter. I think perfects happen in that game. You gotta shake off a perfect. But perfect still impressed me in Guilty Gear Strive, let me tell you.
Yeah, it can definitely get a little out of control sometimes here, but there we go. Has the burst. Focus is low, only 2 bullets remaining, and finds a knockdown. So Risky Sweep, continuing to keep that pressure high.
Oh, still had the double jump after the up dolphin. Thankfully, cottonballo is able to get out of the corner, but the reversal comes out from Risky Sweep. I am not dealing with none of your bull on my wake up. Didn't you see how I mauled you round 1? I will call SeaWorld on you. We do have this big corner carry combo now for cottonballo. We do reapply the curse just before we pop the wall. So this is going to be a really good spot for cottonballo to be in. Problem is, Risky Sweep has already demonstrated that they do not respect you at round start position.
Oh, found the sweep. And is going to be able to take the kill there. Takes aim just in time to take the shot. Had the meter if they needed it, but not quite required. A round apiece. No bursts on the table, but both of them will certainly come back in the round.
Okay. Oh, wow. Early Totsugeki coming out once again from Risky Sweep. Now has cottonballo locked down in the corner. All of this offense right now, the more you're able to do this, great. Positive bonus and a 50% life lead all before cottonballo gets their burst back. 6S starter there from cottonballo is able to net them a decent swing here. Deus Ex, okay. You want the good Oki and positive bonus. So what is the mix-up going to be, and how does Risky Sweep respond?
You gotta be careful about how you hold this YRC there. Instead, is gonna take the hit, has to go for the burst, looks for the slide, using it like Stun Dipper, and all of the meters spent. And unfortunately, for no reward, Cotton it just gets away clean.
You might not be close enough to the wall for I'm a liar, but you're still not dead. I forgot that Mei has, you know, Mei has biological superpowers. No whip punish. In fact, no whip punish on either side. Totsugeki starting. We get empty jump throw once again. We just barely got the meter for that. What's it going to be? YRC comes up from cottonballo. They're so afraid to hit a button, and they shouldn't have been. In fact, they should have controlled the space because now they're dead.
Oh, dude, there was just so many opportunities there, and Risky Sweep having that 50 bar behind just really completely changed the landscape of how to handle the situation. Expertly played to not take any chip against one of the characters that dishes it out so liberally.
Absolutely. All right, we see cottonballo trying to play a little bit more of a full screen game there, it looked like, for a hair. I think they're having a really hard time meeting the pace of control that comes from a very aggressive Mei using Totsugeki. I think she's one of the characters that can lock down that screen in front of Happy Chaos in a spot where ordinarily I think they're really used to feeling like they get to run the ball game.
Okay, he's gonna go for super focus just to make sure we get that extra swing. Definitely a good decision for sure to secure the round. cottonballo trying to go for the run up here, but again, like you said, Risky Sweep does not care at 99. You have to be a little more respectful because he is not going to give you the same kind of respect.
No, absolutely. We have the lockdown in the corner. We're going to be able to press this all the way to a wall splat. Yeah, of course we are. I wonder, you know what? Actually, Risky Sweep doesn't care, especially with the way they're using Dolphin so liberally in the neutral. I was going to say, for a lot of characters, I like the idea of letting Happy Chaos wall slump and just keeping them in the corner.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, that's kind of an odd situation that ended up.
You had so much time to pick up that link off of the drop kick. That was crazy.
Focus, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, going for the wall slump.
Oh no, Risky Sweep tried to hit a button in the middle of that. Perhaps a sweep, and I have to tell you it was indeed risky. That is gonna be the wall break now on cottonballo's benefit. And this was a spot when cottonballo got the wall break previously, that round went their way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but there's no curse. Okay, they have to pick up here though. Oh, they ran out of concentration. They had to reflect on their actions. Okay, you're still fine. I
was gonna say, even after the brain blast there, getting that concentration back, not too worried about it. We'll lock down the game 1-1 now. A little back and forth. Definitely like what we like to see, especially in these early pools.
Yeah, I think, you know what, it's actually been interesting. Sometimes in early pool play, it's a little bit of a crapshoot what you get. But so far, everything's been looking pretty good. Oh, 6P representation. Totsugeki comes out, Risky Sweep burns the burst out of cottonballo.
Unfortunate didn't get the actual burst bait though. Finds the throw for the punish into the corner using the beach ball, which I think is a very, very strong option against HC, but it doesn't matter. He just glides out of the corner.
Ooh, riding my Dolphin all the way out. Free Willy out of the corner. cottonballo chases them down though, getting all of these little reloads in. We're not gonna have the resources to, oh, we still choose to break the wall. I guess cottonballo must feel that they're comfortable enough with this life lead that they're okay just going back to neutral. And with curse applied here, I think that they're not wrong. They are running out of concentration though. It's not gonna matter.
My God, the superhero pose with the finish up, take the shot to close it.
3-point landing.
Uh-oh. Good amount of damage, drops the combo, but that's okay. Dropping in the corner can sometimes bring an opportunity, and unfortunately bursts in the Great White North. Oh.
That trade is not great for Risky Sweep. Oh, blows up the start of the BRC, but they don't have these links. This pressure is looking really difficult for cottonballo to deal with. If you are able to beat out a YRC that I have to imagine is going to be coming eventually, wanted for the throw. PRC keeps him safe. Blue RC from cottonballo. I think that was another opportunity where cottonballo might have been trying to spend their bar differently. YRC does work out for them, but Risky Sweep has the life lead, but they believed a little bit too much. They are getting smoked for hitting these buttons. This wall break should be enough to kill, and it does. It is now 2-1 for cottonballo. Risky Sweep, put the headset back on. That has to be the difference maker.
I was gonna say, they need that game audio, but instead it's gonna be a slowdown here. Go to character select, whether the character swaps or not. I do like this idea a lot. I think more players should do it more often. It's very hard to ride the wave, especially when your opponent is the one who's kind of in control of how it's gonna go. But it's gonna be a switch to Axel. Maybe this was the character and they just didn't want to play it into the matchup, so they picked onto a secondary, potentially, because I know that I personally, as an Axel, when I do play Axel, this is not a super fun one. It's not unwinnable, but it definitely has some issues. Just being that if you can never get Renson started, if they can take aim and curse you before you ever really get rinsed and established, it really overcomplicates things for you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me, right? What I'm thinking of is that I feel like the range that Axel wants to play at is one where Happy Chaos is very comfortable playing, particularly if, like you said, they have curse already applied. And it's not like Axel is equipped to go in and play it more of a mid-range or closer zone, because Happy Chaos is perfectly comfortable to play in that pocket as well. Okay. Wanted for a burst bait, Risky Sweep just barely doesn't get anything for their trouble. In fact, gets a counter hit 2D as cottonballo is pressing them to the corner now, right into the Deus Ex, refill the clips, bring back the tension gauge, get the wall break. This is such a strong position now for cottonballo.
Yeah, Risky Sweep still has some meter though, YRC to be able to break out, but unfortunately that block string pushes them way too far. Snail, usually, even if it's safe on spacing for no punish, Snail is usually still a bad option in this matchup, if only for the time you give HC. Those negative frames against the Happy Chaos, he spends them differently than other characters. Prep time is good. He's on the Home Alone stuff. Prep time is good enough for him sometimes.
It's like he's got Batman power levels?
Yeah, basically, if you give him enough frames, but there's the command throw.
Right, Risky Sweep barely at a life lead here. You can see cottonballo really waiting, patiently trying to find their opportunity. We saw the same situation a second ago, full charge 5D, and there's no defensive choice, but no, drops the dust conversion. I think we would have had the damage there. Dust combos are so heavy.
Potentially has some meter. Oh, but the BRC slowdown is able to get aggressive, waits, and then swings. Oh no, just gave Risky Sweep just enough room. And I feel like if you're playing Axel in situations like that, hesitation can be death. Because obviously you're a character that can struggle at close range sometimes, but has an unbelievably strong 2K. 2K 2D basically goes underground for certain situations. So it can be really good to match on, but you have to commit. You have to commit. There cannot be a hesitation if you're going to press. If you hesitate, you might as well just not press it, I think, a lot of times.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like I watched that matchup, I watched that set, and my takeaway feels like it's like Axel wants you in a very particular pocket, feeling a particular kind of way for them to be able to lock down the screen. And Happy Chaos can just start running his offense and doesn't care about which part of the screen you're on. If he has a curse applied, he doesn't care at all. And if there isn't a curse applied, it's at least like, all right, well, I'm far enough away that like I can still aim. You still kind of have to deal with my nonsense. And it felt like the niche where Axel feels like they are able to drive is so specific. And I don't think I saw Risky Sweep land in it. The closest that we saw were those spots where they were able to, you know, get the anti-air and vortex them in and then go for the high-low mix there, which worked out for them both times. And the unfortunate problem was when it really mattered and they got that full charge 5D, should have led to boatloads of damage. Yeah. And they didn't have that combo ready. And that's a real shame. But I'm sure there is still the loser side. And if I can I just highlight that, like, Happy Chaos out here getting, you know, jump JP into full combos because he's got bullets. No other character that has a resource just gets to do that. He's just like, oh, no, I have the full art of the defense industry.
Oh my god, no, definitely true. It's you know, it's the strength of the character, right? The bullets kind of change the game. I think that's one of the nicest things about Guilty Gear, though, specifically, is that the characters have such ridiculously unique identities and how they kind of handle situations. I mean, we're going to get to see it again here with Bridget. Obviously, like you said, that yo-yo game plan in and out. That's one of the highlights of the character, and I think that people are starting to see it with players like, I think one of the best examples, shouts to Noon, Super Noon, has been really putting on display that Bridget's movement is more important. Movement fakes are more important than I think people initially thought, and more people are starting to catch on and starting to implement that.
I think there's something to be said that, and you were talking about hitting the midpoint of our understanding of the game. I think once you hit the midpoint, the ability to use movement fakes and really more minute touches to really play with someone's mental stack is so important. That's why, you know, that's why I think DJ is going to continue to stay strong in Street Fighter 6 because he has all of these tools that are going to blow up your mental stack in the same way that you were talking about Bridget doing here. Well, we have the fakes exactly like that. Oh, you thought I was going to go in? No, I'm playing level 2 while you're playing level 1.
Yeah, stop short goes for the low. Good stuff so far here from SLaTe. Again, that little hesitation with the movement, just trying to bait something here. This time does commit, but the beach ball, not going to do too much from full screen. Bridget can pretty easily avoid.
Oh my god!
And that, was that a read on an anti-air, or did SLaTe just decide for it, you want a plus frame?
You know what? In either case, it worked out for him. I'm not. That's some real, like, you didn't show your work, but you got the answer.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm giving you the credit on the exam, but I am definitely writing show your work next time.
Oh, exactly.
Shout out to all the teachers out there.
Oh my god.
NeoTenma's risk gauge sitting super high right now, having to respect that yo-yo so much. And you can see it's another spot where we were talking about that, like, Bridget is so good at, okay, I'm going to throw the yo-yo, and now I'm controlling an inside space from an outside space and managing to stay away from that pocket on the screen, where May does a really good job of using Totsugeki to keep you locked down.
Oh, that little delay, trying to bait something here, but I think you got to keep up the pressure, because now, all of a sudden, SLaTe, playing Bridget, is able to have really good corner carry,
oh
drop
my
the combo,
god,
but still gets the redirect.
SLaTe, get out of their head. Okay, finally a Totsugeki works out that time for NeoTenma. We have the pickup off the slide in a PRC, and a round is on the board. That was touch and go there, and that may just be the nature of this matchup here for May. It might just be like, I have to get my one shot and make it count. But SLaTe, I'm feeling like SLaTe is sniffing the packets of NeoTenma right now.
Oh, okay. Double Totsugeki does get the counter hit this time. Dashes up and goes for nothing. Threatens the overhead kiss and says, no, nothing for you. Send him home with a pat on the head. A perfect to knock down the game.
You know what that was? You know the scenes in bad procedural dramas where like we're being hacked and then they start counter hacking?
Oh my god.
NeoTenma just put a second pair of hands on the keyboard.
Not the counter hack. Close slash. Already the corner here. SLaTe looking good and gets, just clean on the overhead.
Oh, what great coverage. That 2H hit at an anti-air from so far away, and then still having the yo-yo set up in the distance for them to be able to press the issue after. And it's that same spot. You can see that NeoTenma is trying to be like, word, when you set up the yo-yo, I'm going to throw out the peach ball and cover the space in front of you. But I don't know how beat up SLaTe is about that, because it's not like the yo-yo goes away if they wait that extra second. They have a little bit more leniency than I think NeoTenma is recognizing.
Okay. 2S into the 5H. Close that one out. Weird situations that keep getting a little scrambly here, but I think the more scrambly we get, the more you got to favor the May here, so you got to be careful as SLaTe, got to stabilize.
I think you're absolutely right, and this is a rough spot to be in. Went for the shimmy, no bite, goes in, gets the regular throw. That meaty connects, and NeoTenma closes out that round clean. You're absolutely right. The second it gets scrambly, that's where May is going to thrive.
NeoTenma has gone for the exact same shimmy twice in a row, though, so needs to be careful about being a little too predictable when it comes to that. Does find the throw this time, though. We close in towards the corner a little bit, but mistimes the throw, and SLaTe all of a sudden had control till the gold burst.
That gold burst working out there for NeoTenma gives them some resources. They've got plenty to make something happen now. Red RC up drift, that would have baited the burst if it had come out. SLaTe wisely hangs onto it.
Okay, safe jump opportunity. He's gonna go for it here, fakes it and goes for the throw, and it is in the corner, so yeah, had to go for the burst, but there's the distance closer.
That is so wild. I think that's such a scary spot to burst, and I feel like 9 out of 10 players bursting in the corner there, as NeoTenma does manage to get that big anti-air and close out that game. But I want to circle back. That burst in the corner there, it's a spot where it's so scary to burst. Only connecting at like the very tip of the corner there to keep them going. May can be a character that it's scary to burst against in the corner. Not as scary as like Ramlethal, but still definitely scary. What a command grab.
That sequence was unbelievable. Ends up getting the throw. SLaTe spends literally everything and manages to make it to the corner here. You have no resources left, though. You got to make this count. And then the 6P, NeoTenma, dude, presence of mind and just to stay stable in a situation like that.
It's I think tenacity is the word that I want to use to describe it here. When SLaTe is in the driver's seat, it just seems so oppressive. It feels cerebral, the way that the offense is getting laid out. And the NeoTenma, like a contender, they could have been a finalist. They just bulldoze through. And they're like, word, I'm still going to keep playing, running this offense. Now having SLaTe locked down in the corner, every one opportunity NeoTenma gets, they make it count. That's like 40%.
Oh, okay. Came through, nice block. Twice in a row, does get the double overhead as well.
They blocked all of this so far. I was waiting for the burst, but no. NeoTenma's so much smarter than me. Saves the burst for the next round. They are in such a strong position now.
Wow, absolutely crazy to close the distance like that. Slows it down, but then speeds it back up with the, into the Tochigeki. What a read!
Burst from SLaTe, we want to reset back, just throwing out the beach ball. We don't even care. Up Tochigeki manages to nullify. That's been an interesting answer to the yo-yo being out, actually. It's like, word, I'll just approach from up high then, where I'm not scared of you.
Oh, okay. RC slows it down and goes for the empty low. And then there's a throw afterwards. NeoTenma had such a good read on when those throws were going to work out. And that's a tough situation to have to deal with because you see it really, really often. And it's a very common thing across all Guilty Gears. When you see someone FDing, when they're holding that bubble, you're unable to tech throw in situations like that. So if you ever see that bubble, you know you can always go in, scoop them up, take them down, throw them into the corner. Good decision making. And I'm gonna dare to say it because you're playing Mei and that's a character that needs it. Just good reaction time from NeoTenma to make those work.
No, what's interesting, right, is I think that Mei is a character. I think Mei and Sol were the characters that, like, when the game first dropped, it was like, word, they're really strong. But I think everyone understood it was like, these characters are strong, but the reason they're strong right now is because they have comparatively simple game plans that are very effective. And the other characters in the roster took a little bit more time to figure out. There's nothing wrong with a simple game plan when you as a player have, to your point, the reactions and the fundamentals to make it work. That was tenacity, good defense to weather some of the crazy stuff that was coming out of SLaTe, but then also great reads in the way that they set up the strike throw game and fantastic reactions to some of the more esoteric situations that they had to have answers for. Just all around really solid play, and there's nothing wrong with a simple play style because all that means is that you just sit down and get to work. No muss, no fuss, no coconuts, no yo-yos, no nothing. You just play. Play the game.
I think that's a really important note that I think a lot of people need to think about more often is having a simple game plan with a character with simple, strong tools gives you more room to use, listen, you said coconut, we'll go back to coconut. Gives you a little more time to use your brain. If you are not thinking so hard about all of the wide charcuterie board of options, you can always pick the right tool if you just have strong, simple tools that can work for multiple options, right?
Absolutely. It's a charcuterie board. It's like, maybe you don't need 4 different salamis.
You know, maybe one hard salami will be good enough.
Maybe that's all you need. You get all I need a hard cheese, I need a soft cheese, I need a cracker, and I need a salami.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. That is a complete charcuterie board.
Is it finally time? Is it finally time?
So it seems as though we have, if the mothership information that I'm receiving is correct, this looks like it is going to be Mr. Chupi versus Rin, and a BadMoon question mark on the screen.
Oh, so BadMoon, I have heard some strong opinions from certain people in certain directions here. I personally think that the character is okay, is definitely in like the middle of the pack. The corner pressure though, and the ability to knowledge check people is out of this world. So we'll have to see how those get dealt with.
I think the thing about BadMoon for me is I think BadMoon feels like a high skill floor character where being able to squeeze out all of the different ways that you can make the character work takes a little bit more effort than some of the more linear or more easier developed characters. And very often if the character does not perform exceedingly well, it is harder for us to see that character then explored because the effort to explore the character doesn't feel as worth it. It seems like Mr. Chupi is exploring the removal of life bars here. God damn, that did a brick.
Dude, so much damage. And again, it's just like I was saying, as soon as you get to the corner here, BadMoon is a huge issue because there's no space to be able to get away from the things that he's able to do. So push through the wall and look at the life bar. Like you said, just one brick at a time, dude.
Rin sure looks like they don't know what they're supposed to do in this matchup right now. I don't know if they've hit a button, and if they have, I don't know that I've seen it get out of the startup frames at any given point. This lockdown is insane. You were talking about the corner pressure. Using their head right now is Mr. Chupi. Burst comes out from Rin. They're finally starting to get out of the corner, but okay. No, you get to block forever. That's your life now.
That's how it can go, though. That's one of the strengths of this character. Like I said, corner pressure and knowledge checks. And we're seeing both of those right here. Not being able to swing in really any of the gaps, not being able to really do much after FD, even in situations where they're creating gaps with FD, just not knowing where they are. It just all, if you haven't researched the character, a lot of this looks the same, but it's very different pressure strings at very different timings.
Right, and on top of that too, has very unique movement, does BadMoon, because of the way that their air dash functions independently from the rest of the cast. So it's not even like, for a lot of other new characters, you can come in and be like, well, I sort of understand the way the system works, and I can figure out their tools. No, BadMoon is quite literally playing a game that is unique to them. Empty, low. You're a Marvel player too. You and I are used to a world of try-dash low.
You know, it's definitely as satisfying here as it is in my other beloved game, as Mr. Choopy does it again, another round in the books. Rin almost has the burst back, but it has just been like rendered nearly ineffective so far.
Even the lockdown there, I think that was JS out of Mr. Choopy. Was that a jump out of a down forward air dash?
Yes, it was.
For an extra layer of overhead? All right, Rin finally gets to play a little bit. Shock State is applied. They are forced to Vapor Thrust to be able to get out of stuff.
Okay. That's definitely the Kai special. If you don't understand DP it, I really, really like that. As we push to the wall, gets the breakthrough, still has Shock State. It's a really good opportunity for Rin and runs up with the people's elbow.
Even locked down, plus frames off the 6K. So much lockdown, finds the throw.
That's the type of pressure I want to see there. Gets the +4 on the 6K and then just stays aggressive. Do not let it get away. The weakness of BadMoon is how you're able to apply pressure yourself. But now, Mr. Choopy back in the grinder.
Oh, and it's the empty low once more. Spending the overdrive for the wall break there. We're going to get positive bonus and some decent Oki. Okay, we just go for it. That was like a spacing trap setup, I think.
Oh, okay. Slow it down though, weird situation, Dragon install. I actually think this can be effective in this matchup here, depending on how you're able to use it, but the malfunction comes through.
I love that in the forward dash, BadMoon turns into a wheelchair. That's actually insane. Okay, burst working out okay there. We get a counter hit starter. You can get so much damage off of this. Look at that, for no meter, you got a clean 50%. Rin backing off. Oh, early JH.
I want to say that was TK heavy fireball, because there's no way you went for jump forward heavy.
So that makes more sense. I think if we want to give Rin the credit, it's possible that given how much early JS has been a part of the neutral game for Mr. Choopy, maybe it was a like preemptive anti-air read.
Potentially.
But that's probably
JS is normally your go-to on that one.
That would make more sense, so you're probably right.
Got the double close slash though, flip kick comes through, heavy fireball. Stun edge is applied, but good blocking from Mr. Choopy, is able to buy himself some real estate.
Okay, gold burst through the PRC, recognized that Mr. Choopy was gonna try to press the issue, finds the throw. Oh, we have the bar because we have the tension in the back. Oh, we get the wall splat that is in fact gonna be enough to clear out that round. I thought it was gonna be one more guess, but no.
Barely got the stick, such a weird situation. Rin has been looking so much better in these adaptations, but Mr. Choopy still has been able to get the better of these, gets the throw in the corner, and that empty throw actually comes out for Rin.
Oh, frame trap's working out, close slash into close slash. That strike throw game, we're starting to see the dividends that come from the fact that Rin has been able to establish that through RC, but it gets blown up. There's been happening that a lot so far in this pools wave. A lot of people going for blue RC in spots that don't make a whole lot of sense. We go for the resplat, and we are gonna get it. It is now set point for Mr. Choopy.
Burst is available for Rin here, so there's a lot of opportunity. Looking for the far S.
Oh my god.
Not working out though, a little too far into the Vapor Thrust. Dude, a DP. Oh my god. Plus frames into the goal burst, what a backdash!
That was so crazy from Mr. Choopy. Called out the PCT to be able to make sure the bed was moved in the right position. Going for the overdrive. Now we have this lockdown in the corner. Next touch could. Oh, it's absolutely gonna be enough to do it. No, you're not. Why are we liars?
50 meter opportunity. No, it just gets shot right away. Immediately closes it out. Oh, dude.
My god, hit him with the spike like Phineas Gage. Knocking him out of there. I wonder who gets that reference. Hospital bed. I don't know. It's got me
listen.
thinking about some stuff. Hey, what a great showing of BadMoon, a character that I will be honest, I have seen very little of that character.
Definitely underrepresented. I think a lot of people wrote BadMoon off really, really quickly because the character is, let's keep it a buck, character's kind of janky. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on.
You know what my thing was when BadMoon first came out? It took me so long to get used to watching the screen and paying attention to BadMoon and not the girl.
And not
because it looks like a puppet character. And you're like, the girl's in the foreground, she's who I pay attention to, BadMoon is the puppet. And it's like, no, BadMoon's in the background, like in terms of where they're laid out in like depth, but you're paying attention to the bed. And it took me a while to wrap my head around like, pay no attention to the little girl walking around in the front of the screen. Ignore her. And then someone tried to, they were like, no, you have to pay attention to the girl because that's how you know when like malfunctions and stuff are being set up because she reacts for them. And I was like, look, I'm trying to block the bed. Do not make me look at the child again. I'm blocking for my life here.
I'm fighting for my life.
I'm fighting for my life.
Oh my God.
I'm not paying attention to which anime reaction she does so I know what weird way that the bed is going to explode on me this time. I'm trying to block. So was Rin. Didn't work out that great.
Said I'm holding FD for whatever it is, so it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. But again, Mr. Choopy, good stuff for sure. I think that Mr. Choopy, if that's who I'm thinking of, also I think that used to be a Gold Lewis player. So moving from one person handing out hands to the other. But either way,
a lot more movement for this one.
Yeah, for sure. But looks like we're on to the next one here.
Yep. MFCR versus Sharkz. I feel like that has to be a good match.
Dude, MFCR obviously has a very strong contender at every single event that he attends, has continued to shine and do very, very well, and has been traveling a ton this year, which has been very fun to get to watch because I think that he is one of the strongest representatives of Leo in the country. Obviously, we have other players that are very, very strong, Razzo, Tempest among them, but I think MFCR is in that conversation for sure.
I definitely agree with you, and I think the thing that's been fascinating for me is Leo is a character where there is a fair bit of stylistic difference. There's players that are a little bit more like, word, I'm going to use my pokes and then run my set play only when I get in, and there's other people that really want to be aggressive with him. And then on the flip side, we have Sharkz bringing in the May. Once again, we're seeing so much May representation in this block.
Listen, in Florida, you know, right next to the ocean center, of course.
I should have known.
You can't be in the ocean center and not have a little Totogeki.
They're just repping the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, that too. There you go. Try to go for the run through. Nice
Wait,
burst.
is that the Dolphins color too? I don't know football.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, there's some orange in it, you know. There you go. See, it's
Voice of God says it's close. I'm taking that dub. You know what? I don't watch football. You're lucky I said Miami Dolphins.
Oh my God, close the distance in the back turn, goes for the run through, same side, a little bit of mix up here, 2D attempt, but nice backdash.
Oh, keeping that guard point stance open and controlling that space in front of them so well there is MFCR getting that cross up once again to draw first blood here in this first round.
And at the round start, has played very defensively at these round starts here, does go into the guard point afterwards and find the knockdown, but no cross up in that corner.
Right. This lockdown is looking really strong. Up Totogeki coming out from Sharkz, wants to get out of the corner, but that lockdown is looking so difficult. MFCR is lingering in that guard point stance a little bit. That's the second time we've seen it now. I actually kind of expect that Sharkz is going to start like dashing forward and then trying to back throw in those spots where they recognize it. Pick up off the beach ball, but they're too far away.
That was all one combo, but instead we're able to find that touch once again. Good stuff from Sharkz to be able to find it. Following through in the right way, one round apiece. Both players have to burst too. It's going to be volatile.
All right. What's even great about that, like Sharkz is, FDing in some of those spots. It's like, word, I'll take the extra corner carry. You think I'm upset about this? Early button out of the guard point stance. Was MFCR listening to me? It's like, no, I'm going to linger in guard point stance, but that doesn't mean you can have this space.
Dash up, went for the headbutt, nice FDIB, but unfortunately, MFCR, no fear, takes the space back into the DP and finally finds the low.
Oh, cross up into the corner. Oh, what a mash jab. working out good for Sharkz. We don't get the pickup off of that. This is possible. You need to be mindful of when the burst comes out. Oh, just like that, MFCR is able to get out of the corner. Flash kick connects. One more touch. We still had the OTG. The one touch was already there, and the first game was on the board for MFCR.
Dude, that buffered fireball, fast RC run through to be able to interrupt the beach ball and still reposition. It's things like that that you don't realize how much thought went into that situation. MFCR playing it so well, but unfortunately catching it straight on the dome for this one. Sharkz looking very strong, taking half the life bar off the table already with the positive bonus.
All right, okay. Defensive back throw comes out from Sharkz, critically ends up putting MFCR in the corner. Counter hit starter there on the Totsugeki now working out. Yeah, MFCR, that is all burst safe. Even if it wasn't, there is no way I would have given them any props for burning their burst there. Don't be a hero, take it to the next round. Nice swift punish.
Yeah, too much volatility between the two in these matches, and that's just how these matchups are gonna go. Can really get out of control quickly. The burst does come out this time here for Sharkz, but we get a huge counter hit that's gonna walk us all the way to the wall.
Lockdown is crazy. PRC to keep it safe. 6P. We are, of course, coming back out of the corner there. These jab checks from Sharkz in those mix-up situations are super solid right now, though. And you were talking about the need for these reactions. Oh, reaction, the flash kick there, cornering themselves right back out of the corner. Watch your toes.
And absolutely, gonna chuck the shield straight away, take the kill. Good stuff. MFCR taking another one down, 1 round apiece. Burst on the table here. Sharkz not quite there, but it's definitely going to be able to get it.
Oh, spacing traps with the 6K working out, but they didn't have the follow-up after. And now Sharkz, I mean, at this point, you might as well invest in property in this corner, Sharkz.
No, but unfortunately, gets immediately evicted. Good lord. Straight up, it doesn't matter if you're paying for it.
You gotta call squatters' rights or something. 5D, damn, you shouldn't have squatted there. You should have stood up for yourself and blocked that high, my guy. MFCR up 2 games to none.
I like this from MFCR. Game face on. Sharkz, though, Sharkz has been contesting at every single stage and has been looking very, very strong. And again, a 2S super front-loaded. I really like that if you're gonna go for footsies against Leo. I think that's the best, least committal situation you can set up.
I definitely agree. I just think it's, part of it is also the mobility that MFCR is representing. It's not just that Leo has good tools for playing like a footsie style game. It's that like, it's very hard to get a sense of where you should try to poke because he has, you know, Berserker Slash that is covering from a disproportionate range that you would think. He has that little micro step with 6S. 6K lunges him across the screen. It's like fighting Luke.
He definitely has some gap closers for sure. See it though, half that life off the table. Sharkz found the 5K, up Totsugeki, but unfortunately goes for the heavy version, sends him way too far up. No wall stick though, that maybe is better for MFCR. You can win on 1 interaction.
Absolutely, especially because if you're able to cash out right into overdrive, yeah, red RC up drift to make sure that they're able to bait the burst. Sharkz wisely keeps it to go into what may well be their final round here in the winner side, as MFCR is on a set point, both of them sitting here with burst.
Found the 5K. Good start to things. Went through and finds the overhead kiss. Again, another nice situation as we break through the wall here. Sharkz consistently winning out these early situations. And it feels like whoever gets that first wall break has very consistently won the round here. MFCR on a bad burst is going to get sent straight into the dirt. Another perfect Sharkz.
You know, we should have been ready for this. We all seen the news reports about the orca whales. We all should have been ready. They tried to warn us. CEO's not prepared right now. Game on the board for Sharkz. Is MFCR going to be able to stabilize? Actually, you can see that Sharkz' offense is getting a little bit tighter as well. Oh, what a tech. And that 2S once again.
Yup, 2S. Super front-loaded. Close slash, the cross-up hit. Totsugeki to close the distance here. MFCR tries to commit to a backdash, but does get the run-through. And now mixed up all of a sudden. What a turn steal.
Okay, doesn't choose to spend. Now that's a real shame. You, okay, they wanted to save it for the blue RC, I guess, to try to get some mix-up going there. With punish, red RC up drift, yeah, you're not gonna spend that burst at all. Please finish my plate. Yes, indeed, they do. Set point once again for MFCR.
Burst on the table. Both players trying to wait and go for the whiff punish here, but I'm not really comfortable with this. I do not like setting yourself up to have to play grounded footsies with Mei. She's been consistently winning with that 2S and scouts the backdash as well. There's the super to break through the wall. Burst is available, but this is a nightmare scenario.
Okay, that 2K check was massively important there for MFCR. We need to try to make this happen. I did not block that corpse hop. I got to tell you, I am impressed that Sharkz did. Spends the red RC to try to embed a burst bait in the middle of this. The burst finally comes out for Sharkz, but smoked by counter hit 2D starter. One more touch would do it. We have the red RC. Do we have the damage in the back? Yes, we do. MFCR is able to finish it out. I gotta tell you, I think MFCR was starting to look really antsy in that set.
I agree.
It was really feeling like they were so hungry to just finish their job, and they were starting to really just kind of run face first into the ground game from Sharkz. I appreciate that they finally found that spot of like, wait this extra second, elicit a response, and play against it the way that I'm supposed to, the way that worked for 2 games.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is partially MFCR, maybe like you said, feeling a little bit antsy in those situations, and also just kind of the nature of playing against Mei. I feel like there's this great realization that happens when you're playing against the character very often, where you feel like you're in control, you're doing things right? You can pressure her in the corner, and she sometimes can crumble to pressure. She has to be very committal in certain reversal situations, but then she hits you once, and it just kind of it's the classic. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Oh, and she punches you pretty hard.
Really hard, obviously. So things can get out of control. Once you lose footsies once to 2S and you see a third of your life bar go in the wall break, you're like, yeah, maybe I should switch up, right?
Yeah, and what's wild too is like, Leia was not a character who was lacking in damage, right?
Absolutely.
I definitely think there's characters in the roster of Guilty Gear Strive where I look at them and I'm like, yeah, you know, your biggest problem is that it takes you 6 hits to do what the rest of the roster does in 3. Characters like Chip, characters like Milia. Leia was not that character. So for Leo to be in a matchup where it's like, damn, they did a brick when they hit you, is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where we ended up. And there has been so much of that represented on the screen so far today. And I imagine there might be more coming. We'll have to see what the rest of the sets are. I have just looked over and seen that we have Voltiyon, not Voltron. I want it to be Voltron. It's Voltiyon. Maybe there's a copyright thing. Versus Water 1.
Ooh, Water 1. So we're going to get a little xoxo action, I do believe here.
Okay.
So Water 1 has consistently played online and has been a good placer in a lot of different tournaments here. Plays xoxo, Optly plays the blue one.
Okay,
you know,
I think I remember
sense.
watching them play at Combo Breaker a bit.
They've definitely played a good amount, for sure.
And as a former xoxo player, I say former because I would play Testament when I pick this game up now. Mostly because I think xoxo takes more work than I spend in training mode.
Super fair.
Very fun character. Had a blast playing them year 1. The character has outgrown my ability to coax on my laurels in order to make them work. But watching high-level xoxo, I still love this character. It's so cool.
Definitely agreed. It's a character that can do a lot of bullying, but also we talk about it a lot. In the early stages of games, it feels like offense usually becomes king. And people kind of start to understand how to deal with things and how to kind of maul people with their own offense. But then we start to learn certain defensive tactics, right? We start to learn how to FD, how to FD, IB,
Where to
things
YRC.
like that, things of that nature. Which is funny because defense has leveled up so much across the board, across the entirety of the player base. The average defense of players is significantly higher than it once was. We still can't block 5D.
No.
we still can't block 5D.
No. That's what's great about xoxo's mix-ups, is it's like, yeah, I don't care how good you are. Look, your defense needed to be good enough for you to not be put in the situation to have to block the mix-up. If you're blocking the mix-up, your defense has already failed you.
I agree.
It's time for the coin flip. That's Marvel, baby. It's like, oh,
listen.
Or like there are characters in Street Fighter V where it was like, oh, how do I deal with this mix-up? It's like, well, you don't lose neutral.
100%. That is, it's a hard truth for some people to hear, but a lot of the times the answers to things that are very cheap is, well, what did you do to get into a position where you had to even interact with that?
And I'm gonna keep it real. I love that there are characters like that. I don't like when developers okay, that's the coolest button check start I've ever seen. I love that.
Very good.
What I was gonna say is, you know, sometimes there are producers that will be like, oh, we don't like when a certain situation has minimal interaction, and they'll like build in answers to situations that were messed up where the counterplay was not to end up in them, and that was like a very reasonable ask. I'm not a fan of when they do that, and I like that xoxo has sort of survived through all of this of like, yeah, if xoxo gets Eddie out and you're locked down and he's mixing you like this, yeah, he's gonna two-touch you with like gross mix-ups.
Yep.
Why did you end up in this situation?
Yeah, something you did incorrectly put you there, and that, even having that, being able to do certain things, being able to YRC, being able to go for burst, being able to red RC on certain weird situations to break Eddie can work out really well. But the Xoxos know that too, and we have our own illegal tactics, breaking the law potentially to be able to just low profile some of those things, just go straight up underground.
Yeah, and it's crazy the level of mind games that you can see come out with that. And what's wild is like, you have those options, but it requires for someone to be engaging with the Xoxo defensively on that level. We see Voltiyon already going for that IAD forward, smoking Water 1 for trying to set some stuff out, and now they are running their offense. Water 1 managed to get out of the corner. Okay, we have some mix-ups. Close slash just connects there. It was a counter hit starter, so the 5D just connects, but they don't get a whole lot for it.
Damn! Oh, but the super dash from Chip, wrong game, but it doesn't matter. Closes the distance, and it is going to be able to get the wall stick here with the Rekko, but doesn't spend the super. He's going to hold it for a potential aggressive.
No. Oh, no, maybe they wanted it for a YRC to be able to knock down Eddie and the possibility of a comeback here. Okay, unsummon, so we get all our bar back, and there is the YRC, exactly like you were talking about. Voltiyon understanding, hey, I'm gonna have one chance to YRC to stop the two-touch comeback and hanging on to that bar. They did not afford them, they did not allow themselves to get in the situation to have to deal with the gross stuff.
Oh, okay. Trying to use J2K to pretty decent effect too. It's a move we haven't seen in a while. Obviously received a pretty heavy nerf early into the game's life, but still a useful tool, just not spammable anymore.
All right. Oh, we had to go all the way through using our overdrive, our tension gauge, I'm sorry now, to keep this locked down. Counter hit starter on the 5H. I don't know what that was with the breaking the law on the back, but we do have the pickup here. That should be enough damage to kill the chip. In fact, it is 1 round apiece now.
Okay, burst being available for Voltiyon, obviously a very big deal in the start. Is able to win the round start situation and get that just block, but the Rekka actually does connect with the bonsai, and he commandos the backdash.
All right, FD coming out from Water 1. They do not want to deal with this nonsense out of Voltiyon. They set up the sandwich mix. That was gross. The JD turns it into a left-right in the middle. They weren't ready for the second bit of Pierce. 5D, nice block on the overhead, but the fast fall low. But we don't have Eddie in the back. Command grab. It gets smoked by the YRC. Now they're in the back. They're in the corner.
Backdash from the 5P. 2S attempt. Just charges dust in neutral. Okay, I respect it.
This is insane. What's wild is this is like, if virtually any, that's what I was gonna say. All you need to do is get 1-2H in a pose and you win the round, full stop. Water 1, a step ahead of me. I know you're not up there in the corner of the screen just to hang out. Your goal is to slingshot down to me. Step into my web.
Okay, pull the round down. Let's back off 2P. Obviously a very, very good, I mean, honestly, I'll call it a reversal. Xoxos use it like it. 2P,
I mean, it's all you got.
Yeah, here you go. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You can amorphous, I guess, but like nobody wants to do that.
Oh, okay. Picked up with the Pierce. Has meter, but 6H immediately.
They didn't get the wall splat, so no Excalibur ender. I was like, oh, this is a great spot to be in, but combo didn't quite work. Was that like a chicken block attempt on that there? Okay, 5P anti-air, and we have the Piercer in the back, but the slingshot, once again, Voltiyon has that bit of matchup-specific tech to literally rubber band over Eddie. We want the plus frames.
Morphous right off the rib, tried to close distance with the 2S. I like this jump, but oh, tried to reflect the, he reflects the star.
Oh, we wanted to anti-air off that PRC, but it's not gonna happen because hitboxes are hella active.
Okay.
Ooh, 5H gets smoked on startup.
5B, got the trade. Trying to stay aggressive here. Misses out on the sandwich, so the OTG Pierce actually sends him into a very odd spot. Voltiyon's going to turn that into the, we'll call it the Uzumaki barrage, push him through the wall.
You know what Voltiyon is doing really well? I almost called him Uzumaki.
I know, I heard.
Voltiyon is doing a great job of, like, when they see Water 1 go to the air, they're going to the air and meeting them. It's like, no, there is not a place that you can go that I am not going to pressure you. 6K connects, and they bait the burst. Voltiyon gets a game on the board. Clean offense.
Yeah, it's one of those tough situations where you have the potential to use YRC, you have your burst. Optimally, you would like to find a gold burst somewhere, but you can't always get what you want. It's too difficult in situations like that. It's hard to stay stable when you know the round is on the line and you've already lost the decision. neutral
I
scheme.
feel like the way that Water One is trying to play the neutral is struggling here for them. Oh my god, that was the late burst from Voltiyon was actually brilliant there because Water One did try to play for a burst bait. Nice 5P mash. Stuck in the corner. I feel like Water One keeps ending up in the corner even when they're the ones walking Voltiyon down.
Also a small error there. Is able to go for the PRC, so that's going to help out a bit, but a mismanagement of the Eddie gauge has also been coming up as well. Water's been caught without Eddie in a couple weird situations without him even receiving a hit.
No anti-air on the jump in. We're not even seeing 6P represented a whole lot. And I think Zato 6P is a really good button. Damn, mashing through the 5D because they recognized it was not in a spot where it was a good block string.
Okay, try to close the distance there using the 6P. Not quite able to find it, but the 5P into the red RC is good. Amazing stuff there from Water One to take the round, but still, with it 1-1, this is such an important swing game. I don't know if either of these players, with how evenly matched it'll be, can muster up 2 in a row.
And I think, once again, you're exactly right. That Eddie gauge mismanagement, finally landing the command grab, critically important, not only for the damage, but for the fact that one command grab more or less guarantees Eddie comes back. But Voltiyon plays so aggressive when Eddie is not set up yet because it's in those spots where it's like, word, even if we trade, I've removed your ability to punish me for it.
Yeah, not a care in the world. Double 6-8, still alive though. Water One has a meter. How do you spend it? YRC on the Rekkas. Goes underneath the YRC, finds a command throw. Opportunity strikes.
I'm not sure. I think maybe we went for command throw because it was guaranteed burst safe.
Oh, but the dash up 5P, what a commitment. Good call from Voltiyon, evens the rounds.
That has been so consistent. Every time Water One is going to the air to do instant float stuff, Voltiyon is not respecting it even an ounce. They are ready for either jump forward and meeting them in the air or 5P or 6P. They're like, no, if you are not covered, stop jumping.
Okay. Oh, found the Rekka. That is one of your best starters here for damage, but unfortunately, had already spent the RC, so couldn't really get too much else after it. Now the
there
burst
it is again. Went for the float.
Yeah.
Early JK coming out from Voltiyon. Water One has been forced completely out of the air, and like the fact that Voltiyon seems to be doing it as a reactionary measure as they close out this game and are now moving up 2-1 in the set, I don't feel like Water One is catching Voltiyon in the air at any point. It's just that Voltiyon is catching Water One up there. So it's not even like represent 2H more or 6P more or like using leap from Eddie to try to cover the air in front of you. Voltiyon is doing it as a call out for when you turn into a giant floating bat at the top of the screen. There it is again.
Knockdown, force the burst. Okay, Shuriken comes through, just a little bit of pressure here. That is comedy gold that projectile is still being used, but you know, working out.
I can't believe that they managed to backdash away from the 5D mix. Water has like straight up not been able to run their mix-ups at all. They finally get a starter here. All right, Excalibur for the wall break, reset the Eddie gauge. This is a good spot to be in. You get summoned into guaranteed pressure. One mix-up, they block the 5D, empty low, but once again, you didn't really have anything else. We find the command grab though, and that should be enough. Yes, it is. Even if they didn't, they had red RC down drift. If you see the burst, you're fine, you're fine.
Jump in, 2K2D, jumps over the Pierce again, no free rides, does not let the pressure rock. That's what we were talking about when it comes to knowledge checky stuff. Just not willing to let that pressure go for free. Gets the clash, but clashes against Chip almost never go your way. You know he's pressing again.
Okay, smoked by the overhead this time, and Water One stuck up against the wall. Positive bonus finally runs out, but it's not gonna matter. I was like, oh no, there's not enough bar. Doesn't matter. Set point for Voltiyon.
A little delay. Again, not a lot of 6P in situations like that. Does get the pressure with Pierce and just has to go for the unsummoned. Shuriken beats Eddie.
The way that Voltiyon is playing this game in the air has been so fascinating, and Water has, like, I think that's fundamentally what it is that Water has not been able to keep Voltiyon locked down on the ground long enough to actually start to run their offense. 6H connects, but you have the life advantage here at least. But just the mismanagement of resources, goddamn.
Again, just not letting that rock. You can never get it for free. Goes for the overhead afterwards here. Command throw finally lands. And now Water One guessing for game, essentially. One more touch.
Wanted for the 2H, we're not gonna get it. Okay, we find the throw. Command grab, that's going to do it there. We're going to game 5.
Didn't seem like it was going to be able to make it there. Voltiyon,
No.
like you said, has been doing a great job of just sniffing out all of these jumps, stopping all of the attempts at air approaches, and just asserting himself at everything above normal jump height.
All right, setting up a pose a little bit. I almost wish that Water would just set up a pose and let it rock for a little longer and then unsummon. Because Voltiyon's playing so aggressive, and it's like when a pose comes out, Water is Rekka canceling a pose into another option, and Voltiyon's using that opportunity to press.
Okay, Rekka into nothing, slows it down. Second hit of Rekka. That low hit Rekka is one of the highest scaling starters you can get there for Chip, so amazing damage off of Perfect. Still has his burst. Voltiyon threatening the set.
Yep, Pierce comes out, but Eddie is just swinging wildly and aimlessly. The degree of control that I associate with like capable Zato players, including Water, is I'm just not seeing it in this matchup. Voltiyon is like a fly, just a gnat. Like, you know when there's a fly in your room and you just can't get it? Yeah. That's Voltiyon's Chip right now. Pressing the issue, has walked Water all the way to the corner. Where's the J2K? It doesn't come out. Waiting for a possible anti-air. We finally have some lockdown. Okay, close slash starter, but I mean, no 2H.
Pierce does come through, tries to go for the drill, invite hell, nothing to follow.
Oh, the float gets jabbed.
Yeah, missed input potentially in the air. It's okay though, 50 bar, finds the overhead.
Gold burst whiffs, Voltiyon takes it. I think that it has been a very long time since I have seen a Zato player look like they have struggled so much to get their game going. And you talked about it right at the top, the knowledge checkiness of it. The fact that, like, yeah, this character has stuff. You need to know how to stop Zato from getting the engine going. And Voltiyon knew. There was at no point that Water was trying to start to get stuff going did any of it pan out, except for that one shot where they had opposed 2H anti-air.
Yeah.
That was it. Otherwise, go back and watch the set. Every time Water got a hit, it ended up being like close slash into nothing or 2K2D into nothing because they got the hit as Eddie died. And Voltiyon, that's a trade you're so willing to make.
Absolutely. Solo Zato damage is not something I'm too worried about.
No.
Eddie is where the heavy lifting comes in for sure. But that's good stuff, obviously, from the Chip. We like to see that for sure. Another thing that was really nice was, like you said, he was going for a pose early and then trying to cancel very quickly.
Yes.
And Voltiyon very consistently, I don't know if you noticed exactly the answer he was going for most of the time. He was J2K'ing behind to get past a pose. He could cross up J2K in response to a pose like more than once.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting answer that I feel like you don't see people go like, it seems like an answer that's too simple, right? Oh, a pose is on his left.
I'll go to his right.
I'm just gonna go to his right.
Well, we also saw utilizing like, oh, you set up a pose over here and I'm already in the air. I'm just gonna throw Shuriken, and then when you cancel a pose into Pierce, my Shuriken's gonna hit Eddie, and Eddie's off the board. Which
is crazy because Shuriken is like kind of a meme. Honestly and truly, it's kind of a meme. You do not see it reasonably used very, very often. That is honestly and truly, that we saw was in the conversation for the best use of Shuriken I've ever seen. It's not used.
It did such a great job of giving Voltiyon the breathing room they needed to just run rampant in that matchup.
Agreed.
Leashes off. We are getting ready for our next match. K7 Showoff versus Terb.
Okay, so I love both these players so much. K7, obviously, very strong, played NetherRealm games, NRS, was a super top level multi-versus player, plays a ton of games. This guy is super multi-talented.
Okay.
Terb is a South Florida Potemkin who's very strong, trains with Marvello and some of the other people. I believe he plays at Flynn's with all of them, shouts to all the FG people. This is going to be a very good one, and I like playing Kai into this from K7, because K7 obviously plays a multitude of characters. Kai versus Potemkin is not a very fun one.
For Potemkin, I presume you mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a Stun Edge is a difficult projectile to have to deal with here. Flick can be okay, but the way that Kai kind of represents pressure in his stagger game is not something Potemkin is particularly good at dealing with. So we'll have to see how it plays out here, but I like this pick from K7, knowing the other characters that he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think even just archetypically, I think, you know, playing a Shoto-style character that has the ability to represent, you know, a version of every tool against a pure grappler is something that historically does okay for the Shoto-style character. So I think even just on an archetypical level, this seems like a great matchup. And wow, the whiff punish there as they sort of low profile the far slash that had come out from Terb.
Okay, max damage there, push through the wall. Chooses not to ride the lightning here. He's going to save the meter for mix-up instead.
I respect that they didn't Vapor Thrust there. I 1,000,000% would have. We are going to get the pick up there. Finds the dash cancel off the close slash and is able to close out that round pretty clean.
Yeah, one of the best things you can do in the Potemkin matchup is set yourself up to have 50 meter in neutral, because Potemkin normally has to spend, he has to go for some kind of absurd risk in a lot of situations. Having 50 bar to kind of bend the rules is so important to evade that big guess he's going to go for it.
What I'm loving about the approach to the matchup right now from K7, it's super whiff punish heavy with far slash.
Yep.
And what's happening is it's like, get shock state applied, I get the whiff punish with far slash, and if I land anything on block, I go into Fudra arc, and I have plus frames, and I get to run a mix-up, and at the end of the block string, I'm at the perfect space to start whiff punishing with far slash again. It's like this perfect little engine of, I only get in on my terms, do my one mix-up, and then we reset back to where I'm comfortable in dictating the pace of the matchup. And that was just clean, quick, efficient out of K7 to close out that first game.
A little unfortunate from Terb, though. There was a really big drop combo there. Counter hit 5P into 2S is the bread and butter. You have to find those because you do get knocked down mid-screen. But unfortunately, missed opportunity, but still okay. Terb in this. But K7, like you said, looking very impressive so far.
Okay, Terb is managing to get some offense going for themselves now. Blue RC drift, land into the Potemkin Buster. Now, does the slowdown affect the startup of your jump?
I don't think so. No, that doesn't make it like an unjumpable command.
Okay.
No.
That would be so gross.
If that was unjumpable, Potemkin
would probably be a much better character.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, still okay though. Terb takes the round down. 2P, no, with the people's elbow. 6P, what a way to go, but the back throw, the incident. No, you can't burst there.
All right, keeping them locked down. K7 starting to work their way out. They've got the control of the ground game. Unfortunately, Terb has managed to earn their way back in, get the plus frames. 5D tap. One more touch will do it for Terb. Plus frames. You can't even really risk taking that damage on block. It put K7 in that spot of like having to live in FD, which you don't want to do because then Potemkin's just going to throw you.
Yeah, it just vamps all of the meter away as well. Good stuff for sure. One round apiece, one game apiece rather. Slow and steady is the pace. K7 looking for the far H. Can work out really well if you can get that right spacing and get the counter hit. Backdash to the slide head too, which is really good.
Great backdash. But Terb, still, it seems like they found a little bit of a rhythm. They're trying to play less of a footsie game and using their special moves and their armor a little bit more to try to blow up K7 for living in that pocket. It's like, no, I can smoke you here. Barrier as a meaty, what's it gonna be? Stays overhead. The command grab does not connect.
Oh no, see a just block. It is a punish on bad spacing with a just block from Terb. That is a punish on that. It is one of those moves where it's very common in fighting games. Very negative, but pushes you super far away, right?
Right, you see now K7 has to be a little bit more aggressive because they're finding that that footsies-centric style is not working out as well for them. And we saw a not dissimilar matchup at the start of our block where we saw another Potemkin player. And like we talked about then, these more niche character selections, they're always going to be a little bit more comfortable playing into you than you are into them.
Had a delay, 6P, so good. Try to go for the jump out. What a walk down, Lewis Baby looking for the air throw. Terb not gonna get it though. K7 committed to the 5K.
He was fishing that 5K. You know every one of those 5K dash cancel, 5K dash cancel.
Okay, dashed up.
Ooh.
One frame of armor though, into the pot buster again. that is one of the hardest things about playing grapplers in any game, and specifically playing Potemkin in this game, is it's hard to sell that you're not interested in using your command throw, right? That's like such an important piece of it. And Terb, it's hard to explain if you haven't seen it or experienced it before, but the way that Terb is moving, it doesn't feel like Potbuster's on the menu. Like, that's the only way you can earn situations like that. And I want to put a warning out here. K7 is going back to character select. I don't think he should pick Nagoriyuki. If he's going to pick a different character, I think it should be Leo. Because I know the other characters that he plays, and I actually think, I've said this before, so I'm comfortable throwing my hot take out there again. I think this matchup is actually fine. I think Potemkin does pretty okay in this match. I think it's surprisingly reasonable for him. He definitely doesn't win, but there are some weird things that can happen in this matchup that go very skewed in Potemkin's favor if you do not know how to avoid them.
Well, and right, if K7 is coming into this as a player who plays multiple characters, and Potemkin is a comparatively fringe matchup. So if you're a one-character specialist and you sit down against a fringe character, there's going to be knowledge gaps. But really esoteric matchup interactions, when you play multiple characters, it is so much harder for you to have that information available to you. 8 seconds, 50% lead. God damn! Do I see 3? Oh!
Terb is unreal right now!
Triple scoop, it ain't even Sunday. Set point for Terb.
And that is part of it. You see, he armors the clone and is able to go for knockdown. That either knocks down or he blocks it, and either way, Potemkin's fine. But Beyblade, actually, we're already on layer 2. Beyblade is the answer to that, because you can jump it like a backdash. You are airborne during Beyblade. Skipped to layer 2, I like that. But there we go, you gotta be careful.
And now we're at a point where K7 isn't really gonna be able to do a whole lot of special move cancels because they only have so much blood available to them. All right, this combo is gonna earn them just a fair bit of breathing room. 6H for the wall splat.
Ooh, patience. Maybe patience kills, though. Yeah, I was just waiting things out a little too much. K7 with a perfect of his own. What an answer.
Crazy, crazy stuff coming out of K7. Spectacular adaptations. DP and round start, god damn!
And the Fukio does it again! Uh-oh.
Plus frames into plus frames.
You can see Slidehead definitely on the menu quite often. 2K2D dashes up.
Nice backdash. Oh my god, so what's crazy about that? That was regular throw whiff into Potemkin Buster. The Potemkin Buster on whiff, K7 would have gotten a punish. Nice pickup off the 5P.
Has burst. 50 meter. K7 trying not to be overly aggressive here. RCs and looking for the jump over, but close slash.
Oh.
Absolutely anti-airs everything there.
Has the overdrive here to guarantee the kill off the wall break and guarantee us a game 5.
A lot of game 5s today. Things have stayed competitive for Strive here at CEO. This is what we like to see. Taking it to the edge here, and there definitely will not be a character swap term. He is committed. He's committed to the grips.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I think they had already updated the overlay. This might still be game 4. No, it is game 4. I'm gonna trust the mothership. I'm so impressed at the play, I lost track of the numbers.
Oh, okay. Jump over. His normal jumps actually
wow.
are a nice adaptation to the slide heads.
Oh my god!
HPP! Okay, what's the mix afterwards? Wait! I thought he was gonna live it. No way, he just dies.
That was the mix. Oh, alrighty, chat room.
Oh my god, okay. Stay steady. Gotta right the course here. K7, you can't get caught up in the hype. Closes the
Still
distance.
stuck in the corner.
No.
It's done. It's done. One more. Plus frames. Oh,
Combo.
yeah,
That
you're
combos.
just dead. Because he's got RC. No, you're still alive.
Pixel? Pixel.
A little bit more than a pixel, but this is a rough spot to be in. K7 has burst, but we're back to that layer 1 interaction you were talking about. God damn! PRC rubber banding into the Potemkin Buster. And that was winners, right? K7 dropping down to losers in the pool stage.
And you can hear Florida going crazy. Like I said, this is a South Florida player playing for Flynn's Gaming. She regularly trains with all the South Florida players. So it's good to see all the people out here supporting the homie. And also, I mean, who doesn't love a good Potemkin?
I was going to say, it's if I have one takeaway from this pools block, it is that obviously Florida is where all of the Potemkin is concentrated.
He's a fun character.
Like a frozen concentrated Potemkin coming out of you just from Florida. It's on the same trucks with the oranges.
Dude, it works out. Terb putting it on the map for sure. Big win over K7. K7, though, obviously is a he's a fighter. So that's a name we're going to see a little bit later into the matches.
Yeah.
Even being in losers, making it out of these pools, K7 is going to continue to fight. So that's going to be a name that don't be surprised to see K7 in the top 24, top 16 type of realm later into the weekend.
Absolutely. Definitely a very strong contender. One of the names that even if you only have like paid attention to Strive as like a tertiary way, it's one of the names that you are like very likely to have bumped into. It looks like we have Solstice and AJ sitting down for our next game.
Okay, Solstice, a very strong player, obviously has continued to shine and do well. And one of the most impressive things, I highlight this very often because I feel like a lot of people have this problem, and Solstice is like the poster child for not caring about it. Solstice plays Ramethal and is very, very good. Is also arguably the top representative of Ram in Rev 2 and plays them at the same time, which is the fact that you don't mix that up is unbelievable.
That breaks my brain. I can't.
Yeah, Solstice is super talented.
If I sit down and play Street Fighter V today, I'm gonna try to parry.
Oh, for sure. I definitely agree.
So, and I play different characters in both games. I could not conceive of, as a Guilty Gear transplant, right? I don't have roots with the game. I jumped along with Strive as a whole lot of the community did when Strive dropped. It landed, I think, at a fantastic time to bring in an entire new generation of love to the Guilty Gear and the anime community at large.
Yeah.
I think like the pipeline of like Dragon Ball Fighters into Guilty Gear. When it's like, oh, we're all offline. It's a good thing our game has fantastic netcode, and you can play it. It was like, great, this is awesome. We're all in the right spot for it. Without having that legacy in it, I can't imagine going back. I've played the other ones as they've gotten rollback netcode. It would break my brain.
Yeah.
AJ representing the Biken here into Solstice's Ramlethal.
Biken, a character that I feel like Biken we don't get to see as often. Biken I feel like is underrepresented for how strong she is. Not to say that people don't play the character. It's just I think Biken is really well positioned at all times. As you can see, was able to block string into the seatbelt, straight into the super, and look at the life deficit already. A little over 10 seconds into the match, and AJ is already threatening the game, or the round rather.
This is so crazy. Rubber banding once again. 6P comes out this time from Solstice. Burst from AJ. Wanted to ensure that they keep this round on a lock, and indeed they do off that IAD forward. They are able to lock that one down. First round on the board.
That's up. 2H gets the just block there. Not trying to deal with too much of the tatami nonsense.
Oh my god. The early air normals coming out from AJ to lock down Solstice. I feel like one of the things Ramlethal does is like she needs to decide between, especially since they changed the hitbox of far slash and throwing the sword, she sort of needs to decide between controlling normal jump space versus standing space, and AJ is threading that needle spectacularly. Oh my god!
Oh my god, from max distance just takes the cut. Good stuff to AJ. Game 1 in the books. And Solstice, a little bit of a slowdown here, trying to think things out a bit.
I think slowdown is exactly what they need to do. I think they need to find something that they can do to stymie the offense of AJ so that they can start to run their game. I think like where we've really seen Ramlethal be successful, goddamn, that was crazy. And now AJ has brought it back into their favor. Oh, the layers, goes for a little shimmy, it works out for them. Solstice has to spin their burst, but they are still at the life deficit now in this round.
Okay, Side comes in. No, had time to block that. Maybe thought it was already past. AJ unfortunately takes that one on the top of the head, and the 6P works out again. Solstice with a safe and solid anti-air.
All right, they didn't have the other sword, so they weren't able to pick up anything else off of that. This time they're close enough for the Rekka pickup. And we are going to get the wall break for the kill. First round now for Solstice on the board in the first round of this game 2. Waiting it out, really using the reach available to Ramlethal to try to keep AJ a little bit more at bay, but AJ gets that huge whip punish, and there's that seatbelt once again.
Trapped up for sure. Tsunami tries to come out afterwards. JD attempted. That's a huge counter hit. Punish from Solstice. Half the life still remaining for AJ as we slow it down a little bit in neutral, but Solstice decides, slow be damned, tries to close the distance with the JPs and does find the knockdown.
Yeah, a very late
burst!
Oh, I actually don't know how this is going to interact. Yeah,
okay.
The burst beats it. Oh, throw red RC. Yeah, that's a game on the board for Solstice now. One apiece.
Just takes a long stroll, a leisurely stroll across the stage. Unbelievable distance to cover there against Baiken. To think that you've earned enough respect from the Baiken player to take a run like that and not have any kind of button come out is kind of unreal.
Especially given how dominant that first game was.
Agreed.
Clean 50% starter there for AJ. 6P comes out from Solstice and AJ meets it with the momentum burst. That's looking like the formula. That's looking like the recipe for this matchup between these two players right now. If AJ gets that early lead, they're going to spend that burst. God damn, the seatbelt bringing them all the way back in. JK connects, and just like that, Solstice is out of the corner, thankfully, but they might not get as much out of it as they would want. Good block on the cross-up to Tommy.
But unfortunately still initiated in the cage match, but luckily Solstice actually gets the better of it. Counter hit in the corner, Morto, Bado. This is huge. Guessing for game here. AJ has meter, though. Didn't ID. Played it really slow.
Oh!
Tricks the shot! What?
Mine's bigger.
Oh my god.
That was insane. She was in a whole other quadrant of the screen.
Wow, and then gets Kabari into the throw. Strapped in. Trying to go for the pull through. That's an important note, as you saw, kind of how you affect your opponent's momentum can really mess up how they move.
All right, big equalizer here as Solstice gets the life lead and is now in a more dominant position. Positive bonus on the table. PRC into a fast throw. We've got the tether set up once again. Instant overhead on the Yozansen.
Burst.
Baits the burst. That's actually huge here for Solstice. AJ spent it, and they spent it to secure the round. They didn't really need to. Now, Solstice with burst going into round 3.
Oh, and what a whiff punish here. Solstice feels like it's starting to get a better understanding of kind of the pace of how things are going. He's looking a little more ready in situations like this.
All right, the tether is set up once again, looping some pressure. Oh, that was a little bit cheeky.
Dude.
It's wild how many opportunities AJ is getting to set it up. I feel like there has to be gaps in there where Solstice could be trying to get something.
He's getting away with murder. It's such a huge gap.
All right, dash forward throw. Backing off. I mean, what are they trying to bait here? Are they trying to bait reversal?
Oi, okay. Look at this meter. What?
That's exactly what they were trying to bait, because that was an empty jump so that they could ensure they get the punish. PRC keeps them safe. AJ, oh! You're still alive, but you can only block so much. What?
Ran up and did it again. Are you shit? What kind of... Bro, and they both know, because that was absurd. What a choice from AJ. Oh my god. That was definitely a decision.
My hands are just up.
That was one of the decisions of all time. I respect that.
My hands are just in the air.
Wow.
Nobody cared about that. Oh my god.
Well, that was fun. Hey, you know, back to it. Serious time returns.
I'm glad they
Holy
waited
moly.
so long between games. I had to wire my jaw back together.
Oh my god. Dude, sword explosion on the pullback. Kind of a weird momentum trick there. Actually ends up in the combo there. 6P to answer the cross of Yozansen.
I love that call from Solstice. There's been a lot of those spots where AJ is trying to use their movement to be able to get out of the corner in those gaps. So it was like, word, I'll wait this extra second, find the anti-air. Is this going to be enough to kill? I don't believe that it will. No, it does not. But this is very, very little life here for AJ. Parry.
Oh, counter hit Kabari. Yup, into Yozansen. Loop that pressure in the JDs. Does get the break with a charge dust as well. Positive bonus here. AJ making a comeback here, making it look real.
If AJ, oh, I don't know.
I respect it.
I was about to say, if AJ gets the burst out of Solstice, I would consider that a dub. AJ instead spent their own burst, and I gotta tell you, this is now such a stellar position for Solstice to be in, and they find the anti-air. I think this is Solstice is set to lose as of the decision to burst there. Finds the 6P anti-air as AJ tries to navigate around the corner, clipped by the JH. Solstice firmly in the driver's seat, has you locked down. Okay, finally checking the attempt at a dash-up throw that Solstice has been getting away with a lot.
Oh, okay, cross through though.
You're
that
dead.
Should be enough, absolutely. I mean, it's already close enough, but Ram's super is incredibly strong at being able to cut through guts. That's one of the strongest, one of the reasons why Ram has some of the best layouts of supers. Mortobato is in the conversation for the best unscaled damage from a super. And then the laser, because it is so many small hits, does a great job of mitigating guts for characters that have higher guts. And Baiken is definitely in that conversation. The heavy characters and the characters from Japan have very, very high guts in this game, consistently.
I mean, I think in the lore, isn't it in the lore that people from Japan in the Guilty Gear world like are literally
Yes.
superpowered?
Yeah, they're significantly more resilient, I believe is the word they use.
Because
they live in a wasteland, and
Oh, is that what it
I'm pretty
is?
sure Japan is destroyed.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Wow.
Tough though. Either way, the laser works out, things work out. A fun match back and forth. But that is going to be the, I believe, the end for Guilty Gear for pools for now.
Yes.
So there is going to be a small break in the action before we get into the next one. A pleasure, as always.
Always a pleasure. I'm glad we got to do this, and I'm glad that all of y'all got to sit here with us and enjoy this fantastic pools action. Hey, if you love Guilty Gear Strive, make sure you keep it locked and loaded because we have more action coming at you for the rest of the weekend. And if you don't love Guilty Gear Strive for whatever reason, we have every other game under the sun you might want to watch. There's so much going on here at CEO this weekend, and you do not want to miss any of it. I know that I'm not gonna.
Yep. So with that, we'll be back in just a little bit with a little more action here at CEO 2023.